crew, welcome to another episode of the Carry On Fire Family podcast, where we are talking about all kinds of things. But most importantly, we're talking about mental health because that is the biggest deal for me. So today we're going to have Spencer from Mando Medic. If you don't follow him on Instagram, I highly recommend it. Spencer was raised in a law enforcement family and has been working as a firefighter EMT since graduating high school. For over 10 years, he's been a medic, firefighter, and adjunct instructor and provides peer support. His peer support is outstanding. If you follow the Mando Medic on Instagram, you know that Spencer has a straightforward, no-fuss, first responder-focused mental health education page based on his own experience. Spencer's not a licensed therapist, so anything discussed today does not replace professional help. My favorite thing to do is talk to first responders with direct experience. And Spencer's very open about his struggles with mental health. The stuff that he posts is very raw, very authentic, and very touching, I think, to anybody who's ever struggled with peer support. So let's get into it. Let's have Spencer join, and we'll get to chatting. Spencer, Mando Medic, good to see you.
It's good to see you. It's been a while.
It has been a while. Yes. How are you?
I've been okay. I've been doing better.
Life is good?
Yeah, life is getting better again. Kind of back to organizing everything back into the new routines and stuff like that. But it's going all right.
Anything new, like career-wise?
No, I'm still up in the office doing my admin job. Kind of hanging out there, really enjoying it. Work with some really good people. Looking at maybe getting some prerequisites for some PA school going on. So we'll see about that for the future. But
Ooh, PA school. That's so fun.
yeah,
That's a lot of school.
It is a lot. It is a lot. But I was looking down at nursing school and realized that I had all the prerequisites for PA already. So I
Oh,
figured
that's rad.
between the two, I might as well go for it.
But what else are you doing, right?
Yeah, exactly. Might as well throw in more school.
Okay. Okay, so for people who don't know you yet, how would you explain what you do without using your job title?
Okay. So I work in our clinical quality department. So we handle like documentation, like the charts, chart review, clinical case reviews. We handle like the podcast that we have for our agency. And then I also do a lot of teaching overtime. So I'm adjunct faculty for us. So I do a lot of work with our EMT program. So that's kind of the gist of it. It's essentially just the clinical quality side of the house there.
And you enjoy it?
I love it. Yeah, it is definitely. I don't know if we had talked about this role before. I had moved into this, I think maybe after our last podcast episode. But I'm really loving kind of the spot I'm at, and the group of people I work with. They're awesome, and getting to work with the docs on a regular basis has been great. So
Yeah, I didn't know. I think you were just at adjunct instructor at the last time we chatted. So it sounds like you're doing a little bit more than
yeah,
what you were
yeah,
doing.
it
That's
definitely
cool.
keeps me busy.
Yeah, it's fun. Okay, you recently turned 30.
I did.
Very exciting. You are like a little young chicken compared to me, but that's okay.
I won't make a comment about feeling old as soon as I hit 30 then.
Thank you for not. I really appreciate that. You have
Yeah,
no
I got you.
idea. Okay. What did you learn in your 20s that you look back and go, damn, why did I make that so hard?
Ooh, I think being aware of the fact that there's no rush per se,
Y-
like with career things. I feel like that's a thing, especially with the fire service, EMS, law enforcement, the military. Like we come into this so young a lot of the times that I feel like at 24 years old, we feel like we're slacking because we're
Mhm.
not further. And so
Mhm.
looking back, I wish I would have just relaxed a little bit, not felt behind all the time because I'm not. I look around and like everybody around me is transitioning into other careers and going to nursing school, going to medical school, like going to do other things. So I kind of realized that. I wish I would have known that earlier so I could just relax a little bit and not be so stressed all the time.
Isn't it interesting though? Because 30 seems like so young to me now, but I think the expectation for maybe like our parents' generation was like you had to have everything figured out when you were 30, or you were like, it was over for you. But I feel like now it's like, oh, you're 30, like you got tons of time to do whatever you want to do
Mhm.
and go try on all these things. So I think that's interesting. My husband didn't start with the department until he was 32. I think I said 31, but I think it was actually 32. So he's 17 years. He'll be 50 this year. I can't do backwards math, but 32, 33.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And it's
And
like, he's still going to retire when he's 57, you know?
mhm.
And I think if he had started when he was 20, 24 or 25, oh my, I don't know if he would make it to like actual retirement age. Don't you think?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah, I
know.
started the day I turned 18, and it was, I feel like I don't know, I have mixed feelings on it. I feel like part of it's awesome when you start that young and you get to kinda grow up into the service, but at
Yeah.
the same time, I think it weighs on you maybe a little bit heavier when you're not quite fully developed yet. When you're dealing with the things we deal with, I think that hits a little bit harder, for sure.
That makes a lot of sense, actually, because your frontal lobe is not completely developed until well into your 20s. Well into your 20s. So that's an interesting perspective. I've never really thought about it like that, but that makes a lot of sense for sure. Okay. Um, I was reading your post today on burnout.
Perfect.
So let's talk about it.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna let you take it because you are the mastermind behind the post. I only read it. So why are you talking about it right now? What are you feeling about burnout?
So I see a lot of posts that are around Instagram, and a lot of people talk about burnout. I feel like there's a
Mhm.
lot of conversation about the specific signs that you are burnt out, but there's not a lot of talk about the signs that you might burn out. So more
Mm,
of the risk factors at play. Um, if you look at the job too, like especially on the EMS side, we talk about all of these comorbidities and risk factors for things like heart attacks and strokes. But burnout has the same comorbidities and risk factors as a lot of these medical conditions, but we don't talk about the prevention. We talk about how to recognize it's here. Because
mhm.
burnout is often it's one of those things that you don't really think about until it hits you, and then you have to realize that that's the stage you're at. So you think about these providers who are growing more frustrated on calls. They're being, their patience is short with patients themselves. Their patience is really short with coworkers. They go home and they take it out with their family. They get into arguments with their spouses, their kids. And it starts to kind of implode on their entire lives. That's what we talked about in the post was, why I think the prevention is such a huge and important thing is because as soon as it hits your home, like that really has the potential to kind of destroy really every aspect of your life. And
Mhm.
I've seen it happen, unfortunately, when it goes unmanaged. So the post today was kind of talking about some of the risk factors there, and the three that I hit on were the poor sleep habits, the poor lifestyle habits, and then a lack of self awareness.
So with the sleep specifically, like what how do we help them at home when they're at a busy station and they're running all night and they come home? How do we help them?
I would say a combination of communication and kind of the environment that's created there. So
Mhm.
communication, I think we talked about this last time too. It's always such a huge thing with families. Like there needs to be those clear kind of boundaries and guidelines about how we're going to deal with these things as families to make sure
Mhm.
that they're set up for success with that. So whether that looks like, when he comes home for a couple hours, like the kids are handled somewhere else. And so he has the opportunity to sleep, but having that awareness as a family that that's how things are going to go when you come off shift rather than throwing everything in through the door. And then the environment aspect, I have a lot of friends who've started to do this, and it seems to be working really well. And I don't have kids, but they've taken like spare bedrooms or the main bedroom, and they've done things like blackout curtains, noise canceling headphones, like white noise machines, things like that to just kind of drown out the rest of the household a little bit
Mhm.
when they come home from shift, at least for a few hours. So there's really not any replacement for the sleep you lose on shift, realistically. There's some Huberman Lab podcasts that talk about that. But once that's gone, it's gone. I think, but just getting a few hours of recovery sleep and then making sure that the regular sleep schedule off shift is fairly routine and normal, which should fit in with the rest of the family's routine well. Um, I think that's really what's most important there.
We have kids, obviously, and when they were little, we did all of those things. We did the blackout curtains. We did the noise machine. We did like quiet around the house during nap time things. I would have never even like thought to do that for my husband. That is kind of brilliant, actually. So, okay, everybody, one takeaway is get the blackout curtains and a sound machine. Although the sound machine, my husband would hate it now, but it makes so much sense. Like,
Yeah,
why
and
can't
it's
we do this for our
easy.
children? And yes, and not for the
Exactly.
adults. Like, okay, I
Pro
love
tip,
this.
if you don't wanna mount things onto your actual wall, those, heavy duty command strips And if you
Uh-huh.
Velcro like half onto the wall and the other half onto the curtain, then you can tear
They'll
them down when you need
stay?
to. Yeah, yeah. Mine's been up for a year, so they're pretty
Really?
solid. Yeah.
Cake man strips. Okay, what else about burnout? You said talk to me about well we call it compassion fatigue, but when they're like have zero empathy, zero compassion, it's a clear sign that there's something going on, right? Or something for them to kind of keep an eye on and to pay attention to, right?
Absolutely. And this is one that's really kind of best noticed by things like, everybody on your crew at work or your family. Find that the compassion fatigue is one of those that really sneaks up on you and you don't really realize the way you're talking to other people until it's brought up to you. So that's a bit of a takeaway for, if you have a guy on your crew or if your husband, things like that are being short with folks and that's not their usual character. Because we know some folks are just like that. Then being able to like recognize those changes in personality, that's going to be a big one for them because a lot of the times you talk to them and I've had conversations at work with people about this where, hey, you seem like you're not talking to folks like you normally do. Like there's got to be something going on. If you need me, let me know. And that a lot of the time spurs them to realize like, whoa, I really am being that way. That's what it took for me when I hit that point. I had people from our fire crew that had mentioned that, you were being a little short with patience, a little like frustrated with them and not talking because I'm always really nice on scene. I love my patients. And so it was
Hmm.
easier for them to notice. So with some of those kind of grumpy or saltier guys, it's a little harder to recognize, but I think it's really important that we try to kind of take that on for them
Yeah.
because it only really gets worse if it's not recognized and worked on.
My kids actually recognized it in my husband. We were on a trip in New York and we had walked by a homeless person and we weren't sure if he was still alive. And he moved, and my husband made a comment like, "Oh, you're still alive." And the kids were like, "Dad, that was so mean." And I'm like, "That wasn't mean." Like, I was like, "He could have said a lot worse." And
Oh
I
yeah.
know my husband, so I know how he is. But in those kind of situations, you're like, "Oh crap." But he didn't even recognize that he had said it and the way it came out until the kids pointed out to him. And then we had this whole conversation about compassion fatigue and the kids had no idea what it was. And then as soon as we talked about it, he was like, "Oh yeah, that was rude." Okay.
It's so easy to slip into that too. And it's one of those things where I think spouses should look out for it too on themselves. Because if you think about like really the things that cause compassion fatigue are also collateral damage for a lot of spouses. And I can 100% see that happening in that realm too. So it's not even just the provider or the firefighter.
Well, for sure. When he comes home and he's like, blah, 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 I'm like, ugh.
They're just over it. Yeah,
I for sure have compassion as well.
exactly.
I'm like,
Exactly.
oh, do we have to talk about this again? Oh my God. But yes, we should all be a little bit more compassionate. I know it's very important, but yeah, especially for them because I mean, it's got to be definitely a challenge when you are going on, your 10th encampment fire of the day and you're just over it and you've seen the same person 10 times in one shift and it's hard to not, right? What's a good way do you think to like self-check?
I like to do like the stop, kind of tell yourself to stop and calm down when you have those things. This years ago, this was the most I used to have a little bit of anger, some anger issues when I hit my compassion fatigue. Like I'll just be completely honest. Like I used to come home and if I tripped over shoes, like I would kick them across the room and get really frustrated. That's not good for anybody around you, but it's similar like short fuse loss of patience as
Yep.
compassion fatigue is just a little bit more obvious and
Yeah.
aggressive, but it's
Yep.
still kind of the same root cause. And so I had a buddy that had told me just tell yourself to stop because what we do at work, everything is procedural, right? Like every single thing we do, we have a checklist for it. We have a process that we follow. And so we have not stopgaps, hard stops in place on everything at work. So
Yeah.
why not just apply it here? And so mentally being able to just tell yourself to stop and step back, kind of look around at what's going on, figure out what is a priority, what you're actually upset about, allows you to kind of take that deep breath and move forward in a more thoughtful way rather than just lashing out, making those under the breath comments or straight up, kicking shoes across the room, things like that.
Yes. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. All right, let's back up a little bit. Tell me about why you started Mando Medic, because I know you are not a therapist, and we preface that in the beginning.
Mhm.
Um, but your topics are very educational and very, especially for the younger EMS people, because you're only 30 and we're old. But tell me about why, like, what is your why behind it?
Yeah, so I had my mental health experience in 2019 with my attempted
Hmm.
suicide, dealt with all the repercussions from that, and then it gotten to a point in growth where I had been helping people at work because as soon as they found out what happened to me, and I was very open about it, everyone had questions, and it wasn't a nosy thing. A lot of people were pulling me aside, like, "Hey, I don't know how to deal with this. I don't want to go talk to anybody. I don't want to use the EAP. I don't trust my supervisor. Like, can we have a chat?" And so I had started doing peer support, CISM, and things like that. And I realized that a lot of my peers didn't really trust therapy because we're all afraid of getting our patches ripped or, getting the badge torn and not being
Yep.
on duty anymore and all the things that come with the workers' comp from that. And it's just a big, complicated mess that's not usually that complicated, but we get worried about our jobs, right? And
Totally.
so there was a lot of that fear of that formal help with that. And I thought that providing that through something like Instagram, after some encouragement from others, I was very resistant at first.
Were you
Yeah,
really?
yeah, so this originally started when Ukraine had popped off originally. There was a volunteer organization, European Medics is what it was called, and we had a Discord channel, and there was a lot of like kind of telehealth and mental health support and things like that for Ukrainians and civilians and military alike. So I had actually started there randomly, just kind of doing some peer support. And they had actually encouraged me to start it. I've always had imposter syndrome, so I'm like, nobody wants to hear from me. I'm not a provider. And they finally convinced me to throw the page up, and they promoted it, and people started hopping on, and here we are now. But that was really the why behind it, was being able to provide that informal education in more of a blunt and non-politically correct way that I think we all listen to a little bit better in these professions.
Yes.
Yeah, less fluffy, more straight to the point.
Yes. And that's literally what I said. I know you didn't hear your intro, but I said no fluff, no fuss, because that's exactly what it is. But that's what it is like you need to hear the raw. You can't there's no there's not enough space for fluff. It has
Nope.
to just be fact, raw, done. Because, well, not only do we all have very short attention fuses now, right? Or attention spans, but it's also like uh, you don't want to hear the fluff. You just need to hear like, oh, this is why. That's it. Okay, let me see if I can figure this out, right? So and that's literally why I love reading your stuff, because it's like done. Yep. Okay. I learned everything I need to know from that, and this is perfect. And thank you for your 5 slides. And now I'm done for the day with my mental learning. So, do you work with a lot of professionals? Or are you just like straight off the cuff with your stuff? You're not like consulting anybody on any of the stuff you're writing, right? Just
No.
straight from your brain.
Yeah, yeah. I proofread everything. I
Hmm.
always try to put out that call for professional mental health help,
Yep.
because I firmly like I will sell therapy to anyone I can sell it to, because I, even if you don't think you're having any issues, you have day to day stressors that are awesome to manage with a professional that gives you perspective and advice and can see things you don't. So
Hmm.
I try to proofread everything I do, because there is a responsibility with having any following.
Yep.
And so especially with mental health, because it's so sensitive, and it really can be, misinformation in mental health can be catastrophic,
Yep.
really, really bad. And so I try to take that into consideration. So they are off the cuff, but a lot of the things I can find scientific basis for. I'm also a research nerd, so I'll go pour through NIH and ResearchGate, and I'll start looking at things that support it. I usually don't post them in the posts, but a lot of that is backed by research papers and, actual formal study.
So if you want to go to PA school, why don't you just go get your my brain is not working, like go be a therapist. What are you doing?
I've thought about that. So that's been a consideration. There's still part of me that wants to do that.
Yeah.
If I'm being completely honest, though, I have the emotional capacity to deal with like having the page, making the posts, chatting with some folks about advice. I don't think I could handle that day in, day out.
Yeah.
The clinical stuff, the blood, the guts, the gore, the diagnosis, like the loss, I'm fine with that. But I've told my therapist this before. I don't know how they do it on a day in and day out basis because the trauma that they not only witness but have to get into the trenches with these people
Yeah.
and guide
Yeah.
them through it. It's incredible. And I just don't think I'm cut out for that level of it, to be
The
frank.
No, the mental load, I don't know how. I mean, that's why I'm not in the medical profession at all because I couldn't handle it like mentally. I could do like the organization part and then the rest I would take home and it would never leave my head and it would be catastrophic for me. So, no, I
Same.
completely understand. Yep, completely.
And that was a
Well,
thought before when I had first started to kind of get into that recovery mode. I started thinking about doing that. But then once I was more healed and on the better path to recovery and started to know myself better, that's when I realized I can provide it, but I don't know that I could take that all on. I think I would
yeah,
be a little too empathetic in that.
it definitely takes a special person to like be able to receive it and not like have it stick because I'm too sticky. I can't do
Same, same.
it. Oh my gosh. Okay. Tell me a hill you're willing to die on for this profession. Tough question, I know.
This is going to be a fairly broad one, but we can be better. Like this is the biggest. This is my pet peeve that I've had for months now, and it's just the simple fact that we should be getting better all the time. Whether that's better as clinicians, better as firefighters, better as law enforcement officers, better at our managing our own wellness, better husbands, wives, daughters, sons, like everything. Like we should be striving to be better as a profession. And I think that the new generation, I'm 50-50 on it. I see some of them that come in.
Really?
I
Uh-huh.
am, and maybe, and this might just be my agency. I don't know, but I feel like I see about half of them that want to come in and make change and advance it forward. But I feel like there's a lot of them that are coming in that don't have some of that passion that I feel like other generations had, and I wish they did. So I'm a little on the fence about where we're going with it, but I really wish that we had kind of that desire to push the profession forward.
I think we're getting there. I mean,
Hmm.
I feel like since 2020, there's definitely been more progress than, you know, backward motion,
Yeah,
I think. I don't know, but you are right. Like there's something to the new generation. What are we now? Not Gen A, right? That's too young. Gen
I think
Alpha
it's
is too
Z.
young. Z.
I
Okay.
think Z is the current. Yeah.
And they're an interesting kind of dynamic, right? So they're very, I would say, yeah, you're right on the 50-50. They're either like going to come in and blow it out of the water or they're going to come in and barely squeak by. There's
Yeah.
like no in between, I feel like. And that's interesting because yeah, I definitely see that. There's just, I don't know. It is a weird dynamic right now. I'm still trying to put my finger on it exactly. But in the ways of like mental health specifically, I feel like there has been a ton of progress
Yeah. Yep.
um, and a lot more, even the younger generation, they kind of know like, hey, this is actually going to mess me up mentally. So I need to take steps and get ahead of it now rather than, 15 years in and realize I'm getting divorced and I'm, losing my kids and I am a mess because I never really paid attention to anything that anybody ever told me. So my hope is that there is, obviously that progress is always very slow, especially in this traditional aspect of life where, you know, people are stuck in their ways.
Yeah, they are. They're the good old boys.
Oh my goodness. But I feel like like this younger generation, I can tell, well, I don't want to say I can tell. It seems like they care more about their family
Hmm.
which is almost detrimental, right? Because they are taking all of their vacations. They might be taking a little bit more sick leave because they want to, stay home with their kids or, they're taking their vacations a little bit more seriously and taking their time off more seriously, I should say. So um, it's definitely like twofold again, where it's like a bit more Mandos because I'm calling in sick because I got something to do kind of thing. And but also I'm putting my family first. So it's like that double-edged sword, right? There's got to be a balance, and we're still trying to figure out where that balance is. But it's interesting to see the shift in the last, I would say, like 2 years. Definitely in the last 2 years, we've been noticing a little uptick in the family values a little bit. I think. I hope that
Yeah,
then.
I think
But that
so.
then there's the crossover, right? Is the other side of the coin is like the departments are kind of struggling now because there's a lot more Mandos and a
Mhm.
lot more people using their sick time, I guess, right?
Exactly. And it's I think it's shifting a little bit of the way the profession's going. I don't really think it's a bad thing in some ways.
Mhm.
Like I personally I think fire will always be that will always be more sustainable, I think, than EMS, like transport EMS. Um, I think it's more sustainable long term. We're starting to see a shift on the like because I work for a 911 EMS agency. It's high volume. And we're starting to get to the point where if we get 5 to 8 years out of a medic, we're happy. Like I don't think we're going to have people last 20 years ever again. I mean, you're running 13 to 17 calls in a 24 and it's constantly busy and we work a good schedule too. And it's still, I don't think it's enough.
Mhm.
I almost prefer that though, because these guys are coming in 5 to 8 years. They're being good medics. They're moving the agency forward. And then they're recognizing the need to leave and they're going into other more sustainable professions. And we're making fantastic nurses, PAs, physicians, um, accountants, like whatever they move into. I think these jobs, like it makes you better at it because of
Yeah.
what the exposure you have gave you. So it's just interesting to see the way the profession shifts because when I came into it at 18, I was like, oh, yeah, this will be like 25 years and then I'll retire. Oh, didn't quite work out that way.
Close enough. You're fine.
Yeah,
No, but
yeah,
it's good that they're seeing like, oh, this doesn't have to be my career, and I don't want to be miserable, and I don't want to make everybody else miserable. So I'm going to get out now, and I'm
yeah.
going to find somebody else or something else. I think that's good. I think
Mm.
that's the one thing. Like our parents, my generation of parents were very much just like, no, I have this job. I'm never leaving this job. I don't care how miserable I am, right? I'm going to stick it out. And that, you got that grumpy firefighter who's been on probably 5 years longer than he should be,
Mhm.
and he should have retired by now. And everybody's like, oh my God, would you please retire already, right? And now these young ones are like, oh no, I'm done at this day. Okay. I'm not going a day after. I don't even care. Oh, I think it's good that they are realizing like you don't have to stay in this if you're miserable. You can leave. It's not a death sentence. It's, when you're unhappy, leave the situation. I think it's a good thing that we're teaching the children, okay? The 30-year-old children. Okay.
Exactly. It's good for him. It's good for us, I guess. I'm included.
Mhm.
But yeah, and that's the like the I don't know, you have those two old heads, like you have the two salty guys. You have the one who is so passionate about the job and they pass on the best wisdom and knowledge and you
Yeah.
remember them for the rest of your careers. But you also remember the other ones for the rest of your careers where they hated their life, they were on their third divorce, their kids never talked to them, they had alcohol problems, they had every vice on the planet. You have that too. And again, like should have
Mhm.
retired 5 years ago, but they think they're stuck.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
if they had gotten out at when they started hating their job,
Yeah.
maybe they'd still be happy.
Or maybe they didn't have the proper support. And, hopefully now we're giving them the support to be like, okay, I know you're miserable right now. This might not be forever. Let's get you some help and see if we
Exactly.
can get you over that hump, right? So then you can make a decision of sound mind if you actually want to leave or not, instead of being miserable and making everybody else miserable, because that is no way to live, okay? Like,
No, and that's a huge thing too. I'm glad you brought that up because I have a post about it at some point. But I talk to followers that reach out with this a lot, and it's that recognition of am I struggling right now or is this profession not for me? And that's
yeah.
such a hard decision to make. Like I had to come to that decision,
Hmm.
and I'm really glad I didn't make a knee jerk decision on that because I don't even know where I'd be now if I had just straight up left my agency. But
Hmm.
it's such a difficult decision because a lot of the times you can work through that stuff with help and support.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Do you think everybody at some point in this career is like, I don't want to do this anymore?
I think so.
Like
I
the majority, right?
yeah. I think the majority have questioned at least questioned whether they want to do it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say the majority has been at a point where they're like, oh, I'm going to leave and they look for other jobs. But I would say the majority has questioned whether it's really still the right move for them, for sure.
Yeah.
And even my dad, I mean, he started in 91. So and he's done 34 years in law enforcement. And I've had that conversation with him where he had moments too, especially in law enforcement, with how that's
Oh, I
changed.
can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I hear about it, but
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
34 years is a long time.
Hmm.
Oh my gosh. He's still working?
He is. So he's a trooper. He retired. He got rehired with the state, and then he's doing teaching now at for
Oh, okay.
state law enforcement. So
Okay.
yeah,
Teaching's okay. He's not like out
yeah.
there still driving around all night. Like,
No, no. He did about 30 years of that, and then now he's
my
transitioned
God.
over. Yeah.
Jeez, that's nuts. So what's next for you, do you think?
I so I'm
Maybe PA
splitting my
school?
focus. I think PA school. I'm hoping PA school. I've got a potential kind of career move lined up that I'm keeping quiet for now.
Oh, okay.
So I might be moving into that very quickly. But if that doesn't work out, then PA school is on the plan, and then I'm really starting kind of a new campaign to get the page back up because it's been down a little bit for the
Yeah.
last couple months as I dealt with things. So
Okay. I think it's good. I think everybody needs to deal with things and then decide if they want to come back, right?
exactly,
Just
exactly.
like we said, it's fine. Okay, last question for you. This is going to be a big one. So you can think about it for a second if you need to.
Okay.
What legacy do you hope to leave for your crew, your company, and your family?
Ooh. Okay.
It's a loaded question.
I think it's actually just understanding that you're stronger than you think you are.
Mm,
Honestly, that's been the biggest struggle through my whole career is that imposter syndrome, the lack of confidence in my own resilience, and that's led to between mental health issues or maybe not pursuing the career as far as I could have earlier, things like that. And the same goes with family, right? There's so much resilience that you need in families. And I think there's a lot of, just like there's providers and firefighters who are out there who question their resilience at work or within the family, the spouses too are questioning their resilience at home. The kids are
yep.
questioning their resilience at home. So across the board, I think just understanding that we are so much stronger as humans than we think we are, and that we have the support there if we need it. We just have to reach out.
I love that. I love that. You're on Instagram at the Mando Medic. Are you still doing a Substack or no?
I am not. No,
Okay.
I got too rabbit holey on that one.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a big commitment.
It
Like,
is.
too many. Instagram's fine. Just stick with one, okay?
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
chaotic. Any last thoughts?
Think that should be it. Come give me a follow if you like the page, and I'm always happy to chat. I might refer to you to go talk to a therapist and let you know that's the way to go. But I'm always at least happy to kind of give you some advice and hear you out on what's going on. So,
Yes, always give you the advice from experience, not
yes,
just random advice,
not
okay?
just
But
random
yes.
advice.
But yes, always speak to a mental health professional if you need it. And I love how you're very transparent about that too. It's like, no, I'm not a professional. I'm just giving you my experience and take what you need from it and leave the rest and then go see a therapist if you need one still. So
Exactly.
thanks for hanging out with me, dude. You too.